You wake up. You open your eyes. Before your brain even processes the morning light, a small status icon flickers in the upper corner of your retina. Green, system active. You get up, and for a split second, you can't remember where you left your wallet. Automatically, you flick your pupil to the left. The system understands the command and projects a video thumbnail onto your dresser. It's the recording from 10 minutes ago. You see yourself leaving the wallet in the kitchen drawer while having coffee. Problem solved. No stress, no forgetting. This still feels like a gift. It's the promise of the perfect memory, where I don't remember has been eradicated by technology. Ocular life logging is no longer an accessory, it is the very foundation of your productivity. But notice how easy it is to accept this. In the beginning, you use it so you never lose a piece of information in a meeting again, or to re-watch the face of a loved one who is long gone. Convenience is the sedative that allows the hardware to become part of your biology. But think with me. If every second of your life is a searchable file, who holds the key to that database? Patents from giants like Sony and Snap already detail contact lenses and glasses equipped with sensors capable of recording and storing images by monitoring blinks and pupil movements. It was never built to help you find your keys. It was built to ensure that no moment of your existence remains outside the reach of a server. What you call a memory, the software defines as an auditable data log. The system doesn't do this out of malice. It does it for efficiency. The normalization of this technology occurs when recording becomes the basic requirement for digital citizenship. If you aren't logged in, you don't exist to the city's infrastructure. Doors don't open, payments aren't validated, and your identity is not recognized. You are forced to be monitored just to have the right to move around. Imagine a common worker who, due to a technical glitch in their lens, temporarily goes offline. In seconds, he becomes a ghost. He can't access transit, he can't enter his office, and no one around him can validate who he is. He is physically present, but he has been erased from functional reality. Here, the nature of things changes. When you accept the technological mediation of your vision, you hand over the keys to your subjectivity. The system now decides what is relevant to be stored and what should be discarded as noise. Your eyes have become sensors for a network that never sleeps and never forgets. Surveillance is no longer on the corner lamppost. It is installed behind your pupil. And the worst part, you are the system's spy against yourself. Biological privacy was the price you paid to never forget your keys. But now that the system is inside, it knows every weakness of your gaze and every second of your routine. Comfort was your greatest vulnerability, and the price of the subscription is your autonomy. Anonymity died to make way for a forced and merciless transparency. In 2049, the concept of a stranger has been extinguished because a layer of facial recognition operates directly within your visual perception. When crossing paths with someone on the street, the system instantly projects a technical file: name, credit score, and public conduct history. You no longer meet a person, you process a profile. This brings a deceptive calm, the feeling that the world is predictable and safe. But this safety is a glass cage. Notice this: if everyone is visible, no one is free to start over. If you had a financial mistake or a public argument 10 years ago, that is your new last name, floating over your head for anyone who looks at you. But that's still not the worst part. The system stops just observing and begins to segregate automatically. Imagine a common man sitting on the subway with no criminal record, who merely looks at the wrong person for too long. The system detects the deviation from the pattern, crosses it with that individual's low social score, and triggers a visual alert for everyone around them. Instantly, a yellow, atypical behavior marker appears over him. People next to him move away, not out of real fear, but because the algorithm suggested he is a risk. Social isolation occurs in milliseconds without a single word being spoken. Where everyone is monitored, others' judgment is mediated by a code that accepts no human explanations. Here is the point of no return. Human relations have become transactional and based on metrics. You choose who to talk to not out of interest, but by the security validation the system provides. If the green checkmark doesn't appear, the interaction doesn't even begin. Technology companies like Mojo Vision are already testing lenses with integrated screens that can overlay information onto the real world. What they don't tell you is that whoever controls the overlay controls your perception of the other. If the system decides a social group is undesirable, it can simply label them with danger warnings on your retina. Human empathy dies in the data processing layer, replaced by constant, cold risk management. The consequence is that you are also a vigilante. Your eyes feed the system against others, just as theirs feed it against you. It is a mutual, mandatory, and invisible monitoring network. If you witness something suspicious and do not focus your gaze to record the event, the system marks your omission as a failure to cooperate. The freedom to disappear into the crowd and be nobody has become the ultimate crime against public order. In 2049, if you don't want to be tracked, the system assumes you have something to hide. And in the world of absolute transparency, secrecy is the trigger for punishment. You are trapped in the visibility the system imposes on you, and your vision is the weapon used to keep everyone else in the same glass cell. Your biology is an unstoppable informant that you cannot silence. In 2049, the final frontier of your privacy, what you feel internally, has been colonized. Ocular sensors don't just capture light, they analyze your pupil dilation and the micro-expressions of whoever enters your field of vision. This is effective computing, elevated to the level of control infrastructure. The system knows if you're lying, if you're nervous, or if you feel contempt before you even finish a sentence. Emotional transparency isn't an ethical choice. It's a technical metric imposed by hardware. Secrecy is over. Notice this: social lying, the very foundation of human diplomacy, has been destroyed by real-time data analysis. Here, the nature of things changes and the calm disappears. Imagine you are in a job interview. You keep your voice steady and your smile rehearsed, but the recruiter's system detects that your pupil dilated 10% more when he mentioned a specific clause. An emotional instability graph flashes in his view. You can no longer protect your intimacy because your own body betrays you with every blink. The cost of this forced honesty is a paralyzing tension. Everyone starts performing an artificial calm, trying to hack their own biology to appear trustworthy to the algorithm. But the software was trained on billions of data points, and it detects your effort to look calm as a sign of manipulation. The real problem is that the system interprets biological signals as evidence of intent. If you show irritation upon seeing an official news piece, the system records your emotional dissidence. If your heart accelerates while looking at an ad, your consumer vulnerability is immediately exploited. Your emotions have become commodities for profit or metrics for state security. You no longer have the right to feel without being judged. Think with me. What happens when the government decides that certain feelings are abnormal? Imagine a woman who, after losing a relative, is flagged by the system with a low emotional productivity alert that prevents her from accessing certain job functions. Her pain is no longer private. It is an error in the company's efficiency system. The final consequence is the death of authenticity. If you know you're being read at a cellular level, you stop expressing yourself. The risk of being misinterpreted by the code is too high for any attempt at sincerity. People become hollow shells, operating within the emotional normality required by the visual platform. Internal privacy, the last refuge of freedom, was auctioned off by technology that promised to understand you better. In 2049, the only way to have a private thought is to close your eyes and cover your face. But notice this: in a system of total surveillance, the act of closing your eyes for an excessive amount of time is the first sign of resistance captured by inactivity sensors. You are trapped in your own biological transparency, and there is nowhere to run. The city you see is a sanitized edit made for your access level. In 2049, permanent augmented reality created a layer of real-time censorship installed on your retina. This is called authorized selective vision. Imagine you are walking through the center of a metropolis. To you, the buildings are sharp and the square looks clean. But that is only what your social score allows you to see. For someone with a lower score, areas of urban decay or refugee camps are visible and raw. Or worse, to you, those same areas appear only as a gray blur, a deliberate rendering failure, so that your conscience is not disturbed by others' misery. Here, the real problem reveals itself. Inequality has ceased to be economic and has become ontological. Truth is no longer a fact, it is an access permission. Notice this. If the government defines a piece of information or a protest as dangerous, it simply ceases to exist in your field of vision. You could be looking directly at an act of police violence, but if the system applies a cognitive security filter, you will see nothing but an empty space or a colorful advertisement covering the scene. Your vision is a granted privilege, and that permission can be revoked at any time. The raw world is the ultimate luxury for whoever holds control of the source code. For everyone else, reality is a simulation limited by terms of service. But that's still not the worst part. Predictive marketing now operates within your sensory process, eliminating any defensive barrier. The system knows exactly where you look and for how long. If you fix your eyes on an object, an advertisement pursues your pupil, and the price fluctuates based on your bank balance in real time. There is no way to look away because the stimulus is projected onto your optic nerve. Your attention is the most valuable commodity on the planet, and it is being mined every millisecond. If you try to avoid looking, the system records your resistance as a negative metric in your consumer profile. You are forced to visually consume the world the algorithm projects for your social class. The social consequence is the total fragmentation of common truth. If two people in the same place see different worlds, there is no longer a basis for society. Visual control creates deep perceptive castes, where the clean live in a bubble of visual pleasure, while the marked inhabit the decaying reality hidden from others. The invisibility of injustice is the greatest triumph of this mechanism. The system keeps you calm by keeping you blind to everything that doesn't interest the current power. The freedom to see the world as it is has become the greatest possible act of rebellion in 2049. But remember, your eyes no longer belong to you. They belong to whoever decides what should or shouldn't be rendered in your mind to ensure your productive passivity. Your eyes are now the state's compulsory witnesses and the weapon of your own judgment. In 2049, the integration of your ocular records with security systems is an inviolable legal norm. What you see is used as irrefutable proof in courts, eliminating any room for silence or doubt. If you witnessed a crime, the video clip has already been sent to the government cloud before you even process the shock. But here is where things change nature. What you look at is now used against you as evidence of intent. If your eyes fixate on a forbidden object for 2 seconds too long, the system generates proof of unauthorized interest. Looking the wrong way has become the definitive indicator of a crime you haven't yet committed. This is the final stage, biological banishment through the suspension of functional vision. Imagine a common woman, with no record, who by an error of judgment looks at a restricted government area for too long. The next day she tries to enter her home, and the door doesn't recognize her retina. A red alert flashes in her eyes. Identity suspended for suspicious conduct. Instantly, the world stops responding to her. Her cards don't swipe, her access to work is blocked, and even the faces of her family members are blurred by the system as part of the punishment. The system doesn't need physical prisons when it can simply revoke your reality. She becomes a ghost who sees the world, but the world has been forbidden to see her. Think with me. Ocular authentication, which promised total security, is now your permanent leash. You cannot run away because your identity is tied to your optic nerve. If you try to remove the hardware, you go blind to the city's entire infrastructure. Without the system's eyes, you can't even use public transit or buy water. Dependency is absolute, and the cost of revolt is complete social invalidity. You realize too late that your eyes are not windows to the soul. They are sensors of a global network of social control. With every blink, you confirm your submission to the algorithm that transformed your perception into a unit of state data processing. The system doesn't let you forget anything, transforming forgiveness into an obsolete concept. If you made a mistake, it will be replayed for you repeatedly as part of your mandatory visual rehabilitation. You are forced to re-watch your failure in high definition until your emotional response is one of absolute conformity. Peace of mind has been traded for algorithmic precision. When the banishment happens, there will be no announcements. You'll just realize the doors don't open anymore, and the world has stopped recognizing you. Perhaps the future isn't about seeing more, but about who still has the power to close their eyes without the system interpreting that act as the ultimate crime. In the end, who still owns their own darkness?